used to work in the prison for 20 years as a chaplain, as a youth chaplain. And the lads in prison used to say, why do you live on the Quadrant? It's the worst place to live in Hull. It's Beirut, hell on earth. Who would want to live there? So I thought, well, Jesus would. We started the work probably 32 years ago. We've been here now 20 years. Eternal Benefits is really about bringing people into a spiritual relationship with God. We think of everybody in this community and wonder, how do we bridge that gap between God and them? The best thing we can do is possibly be like Jesus, be the best we can be like Jesus, so be Christ-like. So if Jesus was here, what would he do in a community like this? How would he step into his community? What would he want to show people? How would he want to communicate with people? What love would he show? How would he show it? 2 days a week now we do the food larder. If people are isolating, they can just telephone and we'll actually create a food parcel and take it to them. But most people we do hope would come and collect, and that helps us to build a relationship with them as well. People have been queuing now since 10 o'clock, we're up till 11:30, so there's obviously a need there.
So we'll get a good regular group of people that come twice a week and seem to appreciate what there is for them, and always end up going out with a big bag full. We have the guys that go out on the van and they will go and pick it up, they'll bring it back, then we sort it, get it out into trays into this area, and then anything that's ambient that we can store, that'll be put to one side, and then we fill up the shelves as and when we need it. For me, it's about sharing God's love in action, trying to be kind, trying to be thoughtful, and not just letting them come in and get food, but it's allowing us to be able to get to know people and just have little chats with them, and you know, we even get to know what they like and what they don't like, so food wise. So we say, oh, we've got this for you today, John, or we've got this for you today, so and so, yeah, I know that you like this. So it's just laying that foundation of the love of Christ into people's lives, just showing that Jesus is real and Jesus means a lot to us. That's why we do what we do. Would you like some flowers? Yes, please. For us, it's been those random acts of kindness that we've been very fortunate to have flowers given to us from Marks and Spencer's, and being able to take those round to houses and to give them to people, that we've seen people crying and being so overwhelmed with just receiving a bunch of flowers, and some saying, nobody's ever given me flowers before. So that's been real touching, and it's just been real heartwarming for me. That's been one of the highlights really, is just to go and be able to do that.
The swap shop is, most people would think of it as a charity shop, but charity shops are usually trying to make money for their good cause. We are more about helping people desperately in need. So the charity shop or swap shop is where people can come and take stuff, or even swap stuff if they choose to. If they've got something to give, they can take something in exchange. If you imagine somebody coming out of homelessness, absolutely nothing, somebody's got absolutely nothing, completely lost hope, no real hope in their life, need some help and support, what do they need? From a knife and a fork to a cup and a saucer, right through to a fridge freezer, we will try and help them to get back on their feet and show the love of Jesus through word and action.
Our primary aim and our primary focus is to help those most in need of essential items of furniture. People that are sort of fleeing domestic violence, people that are coming out of homelessness, people that are recovering from drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and asylum seekers as well. Anybody that gets a new home is in real desperate need of essential items, so something to sit on, something to sleep on, something to cook with, something to keep your food cold, you know, all these basics that I think we take for granted so often. And there's a lot of people that tend to come, they have nothing, they're just trying to get on their feet. So sort of things that we provide: beds, sofas, white goods, any type of white goods, just to help these people really. It's
all about relationship. It's key is relationship. So whether that's integrating the international people into the community, because we have lots of international people coming. So it's for us, it's all about community welfare and bringing Christ into the centre of that. Jesus being the head, us as a church being the head in the community, the leading light in the community. On average, we would have 25 staff around, mostly volunteers. What I find very interesting is the whole thing about when Jesus had the disciples walking with him. Now, of course, when he said, follow me, they wasn't born again at that stage. So they actually walked with Jesus for a period of time. And at some point, Jesus says, you are the Lord, you are the Messiah. And the same as all disciples. And it's the same for us with our volunteers. People come and work with us, and quite often they're not Christian, and then they'll be with us sometimes a year, 2 years. But all the time they're walking with us, they're learning about Jesus. So it's a form of discipleship. It's almost like pre-discipleship.
It's changed my life completely. I started about 5 years ago. I came to volunteer a few hours a week. I was in a bad situation in my life, depressed, mental health. I lost my family, drinking, drugs, things like that. It's changed my life completely, and I now work here full time. Right. It brings people together on the estate. There's a lot of poverty. It just helps people out, and it makes the community come together more and things like that, you know.
Of the ethos of eternal benefits, you know, wanting to just be a light in the community, and on a, you know, for a personal aspect, I think it's just trying to have the opportunity, you know, asking God, how do you want to use me? Where can you use me? And often praying for opportunity to pray with people. So quite often when people come in and that are really, really down, you know, I offer to pray for them, and I just say, look, you know, I'm a Christian, you know, Jesus has changed my life, can I pray with you? So I've had quite a few opportunities to do that, and it's been very rewarding. That's probably the sort of pinnacle of it really for me, is just being able to sort of have some sort of spiritual output, to pray with people, to share a little bit of my testimony with people, and just to ask God to sort of intervene in their life really.
The only thing that keeps us going is God's blessing. There's a lot of hardship, a lot of difficulty, a lot of work. My average week will be nearly 80-hour week. So it's hard work, it's tough work in a community like this. But only God can keep that going. Only God can give you the hope that you're making a difference. And we just see enough opportunities, enough examples of making a difference to keep us lifted and encouraged. And obviously that's a God thing again. It's God giving us that empowering to do what we do in the name of Jesus. We could give hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonies over 30 odd years we've been here, from those that are basically suicidal. When you lose hope, then you've lost basically everything. Faith for me is the answer to hope. If you've got hope in God, you've got faith, there's a hope for the future, then obviously there's always hope. So I think Jesus is the answer, and it's how do we communicate Jesus as being the hope of the world, the future, the light of the world. We try and communicate that through everyday activity, through living with people. That's the key for me. It's about living amongst people, just like Jesus living amongst us.